Very good morning, every participant, as well as the speaker, Dr. G.M. Madhu. On the behalf of BIT, I welcome you all, and we are about to start the session within 5 to 6 minutes. So, it will be the first technical session of the day 2 of 5-day FDP on OBE and NBA accreditation. So, I will request each and every participant just to ask your colleagues to join as soon as possible so that we can start with the technical session. We will be starting our technical session at 9:45 a.m. So once again, a very good morning, everyone. I, on the behalf of Gujarat Institute of Technology, take this privilege to welcome each and every participant as well as the expert lecture which will be taken by Dr. G.M. Madhu. Dr. G.M. Madhu, who is working as a professor in Department of Chemical Engineering and IQAC coordinator at MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology. He has 22 years of experience of teaching and research. He is a master trainer on outcome-based education and accreditation, conducted more than 20 workshops on OBE and guiding the 11 institutions for accreditation under AICTE Margdarshan scheme. He has published 63 papers in peer-reviewed journals and presented 54 papers in national and international conferences, guiding 5 students for PhD degree and currently 4 are pursuing PhD. Completed 5 major funded projects worth of 60 lakhs sponsored by government and non-government agencies. It's our pleasure to have you as an expert lecture speaker for the day 2, session 1 on the topic PEO's vision and mission. Sir, we are very thankful that you given your consent for the speaker of today's event. Now I hand over this platform to you. Now it's up for you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for the introduction. Now I can share my PPT. Okay. Yeah. So, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to interact with you on outcome-based education and accreditation. I hope my PPTs are visible and the audio is clear. I need any response at least.
Yes, sir, your audio is clear.
Okay, thank you. So, today's topic on the vision, EOs and POs, okay, for a program. Before I start into the accreditation, that is jumping into the process of what is vision, just I want to give a glimpse of one very good research paper which I and I got I tell people to read this. 2012 is published. He talks about the whole engineering growth has happened over engineering started, okay, military to produce a product. Started with a lot of programs and started only skill-based engineering program and a mathematical-based engineering program, and we start emphasis to mathematics, analytical emphasis there. And the second stage is in place. It is outcome-based and accreditation. US and other countries shift towards an outcome-based. At present, what is happening is we are more getting ourselves and use of a lot of ICT in our education. Future use of a lot of information technology into engineering education. So we are moving towards the third shift. So the shift parallel. But outcome-based education already in Western countries, an outcome-based education model. Because we need a drastic change in NBA process adaptation where everything we are giving a lot of importance to a teaching learning process, which was not there in the earlier accreditation process. If you look at our accreditation manual, the more of we are giving a lot of importance to curriculum, teaching learning process. Finally, we are trying to move towards our achieving mission. Now, just given an idea done in next, given a I think about others. India need to be Washington record. And what is engineering graduates? General passport for our graduates. If you look at our whole outcome-based education and accreditation process, the whole thing is based on the process engineers and their performing the functions. Based on their qualities and functions, the whole mirror. It is based on knowledge, skill, and attitude. And it is always looks at their competencies, what they developed towards this is their body of education, the type of training, and its experience. Okay, this Washington, based on Washington Accord, the present NBA accreditation manual has been developed. According to this Washington Accord, if you have a Washington Accord, we will have a signatory A. Suppose India is a signatory to Washington member, and signatory if it's an abet member, if you produce a degree of B computer science, B mechanical engineering, they will have this assumption, will have religions, and they have a level of acceptance. Therefore, if
Sir, your voice
yeah,
is not clear actually. You're not audible. You're not audible properly.
yeah,
Actually, I think there is some technical issues or any network issues.
Clearly not audible, sir. Voice is coming, but clearly not audible, so there may be some problem in your side.
am I audible now?
No, sir. There is the voice is not clear actually.
Is it?
Sir, actually your voice is cranking little bit. Maybe due to the network issue.
Yeah.
If
Hello?
you off your camera, sir, can it be audible?
Yeah,
If you
I
off
think
your camera.
yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Am I audible at least now? Hello? Hello?
No, still. No, sir, not yet.
Am I audible now? Yeah. Am I audible now? Hello? Hello?
No improvement, sir. No improvement.
Sir, actually your voice is getting lost in between at times.
Shall I join once again? Hello?
I guess you have to check the connectivity of the
Log out and
network.
log in.
Good morning, sir.
Hello? Am I audible now? Hello?
Better, sir. Better.
Better,
Yeah,
this
okay,
time
thank
better.
you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Now, can I continue now? Is it clear everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think you would have seen this just in a repetition I would put. Say there are many members are there in the Washington Accord. India has become a permanent member of the Signatory of Washington Accord in the year 2014. Now, if you move towards outcome-based education, the definition as per our NBA, what it says is, it is the formal recognition of a quality education program by an institution, by an external independent agency, the basis of assessment on the basis of well-defined criteria. So our NBA is based on 10 different criteria. Based on 10 different criteria or headings, we have made an accreditation process. This OBE has got a lot of advantages which have been discussed in the earlier process. And for any institution, there are some of the guidelines are available. Must have undergraduate program must be under whichever you are going for activity 30%, for entire 60%. Faculty which have been discussed, I think, yesterday. So I will not waste much of the time. Okay, I'll directly jump into what is outcome-based education, now to define vision. And outcome-based education, we have a lot of problems with issues with higher engineering education. The problem is mainly accountability towards students. We always looking at the changing in the curriculum. We always moving towards requirement of the history, research, and other stakeholders. Therefore, we need to be in a more accountable. Fulfilling the requirements of the curriculum is very much important. The next one is satisfying the needs of industry. Because we have a lot of unemployed graduates is a big question mark people are talking about. We need to produce the graduates who are capable of taking direct employment in the industry without going for any prior training. We need to maintain our academic standards. We need to have a very good accredited programs. Okay, and we always are accountable for a grant providing agency. Maybe we need to be accountable towards our stakeholder. Finally, we always move towards having an accreditation in outcome-based education. Now, what are the issues that we are talking about in a teaching learning process? In a teaching learning process, the main issue what we are talking about is the student qualification and quantity. Nowadays, people are entered within a very less mark. We talk about 40% students, even if you get 40% into engineering, okay, which are considered to be in the profession we talk about. And once in only one section, you will have a student with 100 rank. The same section, the same student with a 40,000 rank. So, and you want to have a level of education for everybody. Big question mark that we are. And the second, students have become and it is also people are looking at all in terms of research. Therefore, qualification either in terms of PhD or MTech with specialization. People talk about competency. The competency level in terms of research or in terms of the areas. So if all the faculty, then we don't call it as a competent faculty in the program. Diversified faculty handling your mechanical engineering. Okay, either they are from design, mechanical, thermal, product, and there are the various. Based on that, you need to have competency. The third is a teacher control. Purely you need to do based on outcomes. Course becomes more updated and relevant if you adopt teaching, OBE, and finally facilities become sufficient and up to date. So, what is an outcome-based education? In outcome-based education, not what we teach, it is what the student are. So it's mostly an outcome-driven system. Okay. Therefore, in the nutshell, it is mainly a student-centric approach to it. Now, what are the main deficiencies? It is called an output education system. In the output education, where we are given little or no attention whether the student learn or not. Mainly we look at the CGPA, okay, and we talk about the exam orientation. We don't know exactly the student can apply the learned concept to produce a product or to make something new, creative. Those things have been not out. That is output education system. It's a purely CGPA driven system, and graduates are not completely prepared as a workforce. Okay, workforce, and given less communication skills, professionally like communication skill, interpersonal skill, analytical skill. Okay, the main OBE, the bench of OBE, take the education, main to do. Okay, means how what the student can able to do at the end of the program, at the end of the class, or end of the thing. For everything, you need to have an output has to be decided. Because if I teach you 1 hour, this outcome-based education, at the end of my talk, at least you should know what is vision, how to write a vision, what is mission, how to write a mission, what is PSO, and how they are interconnected. At least these things you should be able to know. That is what my outcome. Based on that outcome, I designed this whole PowerPoint presentation. Next, how best we the student do it. Okay. Now, to know the things, what are the things I need to provide, and finally, once you know, I given it, I measure the output in terms of assessment. So, how will we know whether the students have achieved it or not? And finally, we must move towards quality improvement. So, if you implement OB, you will have a direct and coherent curriculum. You will be more relevant to industry, and you have a continuous quality improvement in place. So, in the OB question, we always need to consider stakeholder at each and every. We always need to know what services we need to provide for our stakeholders, either in terms of stakeholders, maybe alumni, student, faculty, whatever it is. We need to clearly know whether they know what are the facilities must be present in our institution, okay, and what are the continuous improvement, how to go for a continuous quality improvement, okay, and finally, we always look at improving our objectives or not. If you don't improve, you cannot have a same objective for a period of 10 years. We always need to keep improving our objectives. So, once outcome decision, okay, what really what is expected from a student is, a student is expected to do more challenging tasks other than memorize and reproduce, because that is what is called as output education model. At least at the end of the program, okay, the student must write a project proposal. At least based on his idea, he must be able to write one proposal. He must be able to create a project, analyze a case study, and give a case presentation. That's why in our whole OBE process, we have a lot of time devoted only for project. A student must be more, he must be able to write his own project, the project is a case, can give a case presentation, and ability to think, question, and research and make a decision findings. Okay, the student. So once if you do that, then yes, you are given a perfect right outcome-based education system. We expect the student to be more creative and able to analyze and synthesize information. Okay, and able to plan and organize. We always preparing him as a team member as a community, okay, or in entrepreneurial service. This is what the outcome-based education is looking at, producing a quality engineering graduate, okay, who can really think, create new things, okay, and to be an entrepreneur, okay, or in a good working professional. In outcome-based education, we generally have a 4 steps. One called outcome-based education. Okay. First, we need to decide what do we want the student are able to do. Okay. That we will see in detail. For that, you need to design a good curriculum. You need to have a very good learning, that is outcome-based learning, teaching learning methodology, and you need to have an outcome-based assessment. Finally, everything should go back to the continuous quality improvement. Take the feedback, close the loop, we move towards continuous quality improvement. Now, outcome-based education, mainly looking at, I think it was discussed yesterday, same point, I don't go much into it. When I want to implement OBE, we need to have the following conditions. One, you need to have a good vision. You need effective program educational, effective program outcomes. You need to have a good assessment tools, assessment planning, and once you do it, you need to have a robust evaluation planning. Finally, everything continuous procedures must be in place. OB is not a form filling. OB is an accreditation form. OB is a process which you need to adopt in your institution. It's a process. And these are the basic steps you must follow to implement the OB process. In a OB characteristics, generally we have a main intention, we need to have a very good written objectives, okay, outcomes. If you want to run objective and outcome, it must be intentional, okay, and you must assess that outcome with a suitable performance indicator. Everything must be assessed. Any outcome you write, it must be assessed, okay, and then you need to measure the outcome. Based on that, you need to go for a continuous quality improvement. So generally, we write a program objectives. Objectives are nothing but what the graduates can able to do after 3 to 5 years after their graduation. Example, I joined your institution, I completed your degree from a computer science or mechanical engineering. So you should have what a student will be able to do after 4 years of graduation. In where all the fields it is possible to work for him. Whether he is good in research, he will be good in research. Whether he will be good in production. I want to mention that written in terms of objectives. Objectives are I am preparing my graduates to work on. These are the following areas. You need to list out the areas one to clearly called the program objectives. Outcomes. The program outcomes is the moment he completes the 4 years of graduate institution, after the 4.
Excuse me, sir. Still, your voice is not so clear.
And the slides are also stagnant.
Okay. This side everything is fine, it looks. Okay. One minute, sir. I'll try to move to the other place. At least now is it clear? Hello? My voice is clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, voice is clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, some problem which is there. The program outcomes, which consists of mainly abilities of the student, what you expect the student at the end of the 4 years of the degree program. Because at the end of my 4 years of computer science or mechanical engineering, what my student can able to do, you need to list out these following things. But what happened this program outcomes, for an engineering program, Washington Accord has listed out few graduate attributes. They call it as a graduate attribute. If an engineering graduate, he must be able to do these following skills. So they have written 1 to 11. Okay, earlier they used to call it as A to K. Now we call it as 1 to 12 based on our NBA process. They are all called as headings are called as the graduate attributes. Any engineering graduate must have these following qualities. They are called as program outcomes. Okay. Now NBA has come out with a new idea. If you want to make your program to be more specific and you need to clearly spell out what specialization is there in your program, to define that, in NBA has come out with a program specific outcomes. Okay. Now, if you look at our OBE process and outcomes, the graduate attributes, whatever they are listed, all the program outcomes are listed based on knowledge, skill, and attitude. Okay, mainly based on the 3 components: knowledge, skill, and attitude component attained by the student. Okay, and if you let us go into the outcome-based education flowchart, I think this you would have seen yesterday. The flowchart in any outcome-based education must have a vision and mission. First, you need to have a vision and mission for an institution. Based on in line with the vision and mission of an institution, you need to write a vision and mission of your department, not for a program. Vision and mission is for a department. The department, we can have a UG, PG, and PhD program together. So first, you need to write a vision and mission for a department, not for a program. Okay, you need to combine all the 3 and write where you want to see your department over a period of time. Okay, in terms of research, in terms of teaching, learning, in terms of any other parameter you're talking. Okay, outreach activities. So you need to write clearly in terms of vision and mission. Okay, where mission is called as a ways to achieve a vision. That we will see in detail. And to achieve the vision and mission, you need to have a well-defined program educational objectives. You need to have a good program outcomes. To support the whole outcome-based education, you need to have the courses. The courses or the curriculum has to be defined. Well-defined curriculum has been in place. Therefore, our NBA has classified out the accreditation into Tier 1 and Tier 2. Wherever you have these building blocks, the base block, if you can write it on your own, you have academic autonomy to design your own curriculum and to do your own assessment. We call it as autonomous or universities. They are under Washington Accord. If somebody designs a curriculum and if you are teaching, then they are called as a Tier 2 or affiliated institution. Okay, they are not under Washington Accord. So according to Washington Accord, any program you are running must have your own freedom, flexibility to design your own curriculum. Okay. Okay, now let us go into the flowchart one by one. What is a vision and mission? Vision is, we call it as a futuristic statement. Futuristic statement means where I want to see my department over a period of time, or another 10 years or 5 years, where I want to see my department. Okay, department or an institution. Okay, would like to achieve it over a long period of time. Suppose the long period now it has become 5 to 10 years. Because the huge change in the technology, the large change, dynamic changes in the whole process made the things to think any document, vision document is only for 5 years or a 10 years period maximum. Earlier, what they used to write for 40, 50 years, which we don't even know what the technology changes takes place. And the mission statements are the ways to achieve the vision. Example I had given you. Example you take. Create a high quality engineering professional. Who knows what is a high quality engineering professional? Nobody knows what do you mean by a high quality engineering professional. High quality means a student must have, okay, these are the following skill set that you need to decide. If he is having a following skill set, that is a high quality engineering professional. If I want to produce a high quality professional, what all I have to give him? One is well balanced program. I should give him a well balanced curriculum of instruction. I should have a good curriculum, practical experience, and you must give and provide an opportunity for a personality development. If I provide a good curriculum, good training, and good attitude development in terms of personality development, then that engineer what I produce is a high quality engineering professional. Okay. Example. Now let us vision statements. Okay, this is one statement I've shown. Whenever you write a vision statement, the vision statement must answer the following basic question is, what do we want to become? Okay. For my vision, what I should become after 10 years or 15 years. Okay. Where I want to see after in the present institution or outside the institution, where I want to see, that is my vision. So you need to clearly state you in the form of a statement, what do we want to become? A vision statement should be shorter, preferably one sentence. When I write a vision statement, it should be simple, okay, it should be one sentence, and it should be simple English where as many stakeholders as possible should have an input in developing a statement. Okay, when I write a statement, please take the feedback from all the stakeholders. Okay, and while writing the vision and mission statements. Now, this is one good idea of writing a vision statement. How to write a vision statement? This is the many research papers are available. I have taken from one very good research paper, which a lot of people have been adopted this. How to write a good vision? A good vision can have the following mainly 5 components. One is the aspiration. Next is the scope. Next is the function, focus, and outcome. Aspiration, scope, function, focus, and outcome must be there in your vision. Example, aspiration must be, I want to be in a premier institution, a leading institution, an advanced institution, or a basic institution. Where you want to be. Scope, I want to be the best in the world, or in the region, country, state, or a district. What are my functions? Whether I'm going to be teaching, my job is only service, my job is only research, I need to specify. Whether it's a combination of service and research, sorry, education and research. What is my focus? The focus should be science, profession, vocation, arts, fine arts, humanities. Anything you can take. Outcome, scientific, technical, economical, social. Example, you see, if I link one statement to other, okay, I can be a premier institution in the world for research in sciences, okay, for scientific development in a knowledge society. Only the first line I'm linking. I can, if you look at the line, only the first line. I want to be the premier institution in the world for research, okay, in sciences for scientific development in the knowledge society. If a second line statement also I can make. I can be in a premier institution in the region for education and research, okay, in sciences for a scientific and technological development in the knowledge society. I can make n number of statements using this simple flow chart. I can write a vision. But whenever I write a vision, please you need to provide a documentation to show that whatever the vision you have taken, the vision should not be written by a principal or a director or somebody. The vision is in a collective, okay, thoughts of all the stakeholders, starting from the faculty, alumni, student, management, everything should contribute together and develop a very good vision. And vision should be easily remembered. Okay, it must always give, okay, an inspiration whenever I see the vision. Generally, whenever I write a vision statement, it must have the following things. Then the statement must clearly, it must be inspirational. The moment I read a statement, oh, I need to inspire, yes, oh, this is my vision of the institution. And it must be always a challenging. And don't write, and a big rocket science technology there, it must be an achievable vision, be in a simple, achievable vision. Whenever I write a vision, it must be in a collective statement of all the stakeholders. Okay? And whatever you write, it must be in for a preferred future. Looking at the future, you need to write your vision statement. And it must align, okay, with the individual needs and a common goal. So everybody's vision, total individual needs as well as finally to achieve the ultimate goal of the institution. And whatever the vision statement I write, it must be in clear-cut, simple English, precise, where easy people should read and understand easily, rather than using in a complicated words in your vision statement. Okay. Example, I want to put some of the statements to look at here. So whenever I see statements, okay, to bring inspiration and innovation in every athlete in the world. Okay, that is Nike vision. If you have a body, you are an athlete. Every athlete must wear a Nike. That is what the statement is. Amazon. This is a world statement, vision statement. It's the present vision statement. What was the earlier statement when the Amazon started? Amazon started with a vision that it wanted to be an earth most customer-centric company to build a place where people can come and discover anything they want to buy online. That vision they have satisfied. Anything you want to buy, everything is there in Amazon. Now Amazon has moved to physical stores. I think everybody has heard about it. Now they changed the vision. We want to serve the customers through online and physical stores and focus the selection, price, and convenience. Okay. Look at a Microsoft. This is the old vision. Like a computer on every desk and every home. If you have a computer in your house, then there's a Microsoft in your home. Okay, that was their vision. Now they have achieved it. Now their vision is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Okay. You already have our Microsoft. We are always looking at you to achieve more. That is their vision. Okay. So that is the vision statement. If you look at these statements, they are very simple, precise. People can understand easily and then they can remember easily. Okay, what is their vision? But many of our institutions, we write a vision which we cannot remember. We cannot even write it. Okay, after practicing so many times. So that should not happen. Write a simple vision statement. When it comes to a mission statement, as I told you, it is a ways to achieve a vision. What are the things I require to achieve a vision is called as a mission. So mission is also called as the statement of purpose, a statement of philosophy, a statement of belief, and a statement of educational principles. Mainly when I write for an institution, when I write a vision statement, it must consider the following things, because all our institutions we do generally. It must speak about your education and research. Okay, research. It must talk about the philosophy and belief and education, values of your institution. The mission statement must talk about its outreach and inclusivity. Generally, what you are working for the betterment of mankind, it must talk about these three concepts. If you look at a vision of MIT, example, vision of MIT is to achieve advanced knowledge, educate students, science, technology, and other areas of scholarship that will best serve the nation and the world. Okay, and if you see their mission, okay, mission generally, as I told, NBA has also mentioned to write only 3 statements. It's better to write only in terms of 3 statements. What a vision? Mission of MIT. Mission of MIT is committed to generating, disseminating, and preserving knowledge, and to working with others to bring their knowledge to the world's greatest challenge. Second one is, it combines a rigorous academic study with excitement of discovery, okay, and intellectual stimulation, okay, with the support of intellectual stimulation. The third one is, MIT is community works for the community, that ability and passion to work wisely, creatively for the betterment of humankind. If you look at this MIT, first one, it directly goes for a knowledge component. First statement is for knowledge. Second statement is for the skill training. The third statement, what I written, is for an attitude. Okay, attitude is generally an outreach or to their attitude towards the society. So whenever you write a mission statement, try to introduce these components of knowledge, skill, and attitude component in your mission statement. If I have these things, then I can achieve my vision. Okay, this is what they can achieve the vision. So if you see the look at link one to other, it's very good linkage. Okay. There are some institutions which they write in terms of paragraphs also. Okay, that is left to your institution. That how you need to write a vision statement. This is one example I've shown. I think this is one which I found of very much. If you look at our Infosys is a simple company. They have written a very good vision and mission statement. If you look at it. Vision statement of Infosys is to help our clients to meet, to help our clients meet their goals for people's. Okay? They are talking about service and the solutions. And if you look at their example, they have written it's a service-oriented company. If you look at their vision, in Infosys is dedicated for providing people, service, and solution for client needs to meet the information technology challenges and business goals, to understand the needs and requirement of our clients, to develop a responsive proposals, to develop to deploy a right mix of people and product to deliver value-added services, quality of service and solution to our clients. So please look at these statements and see our vision statement. They are one to other exactly, they are matching. So vision is people, service, and solution. You look at their mission. Everywhere they talk about people, service, and their quality solution. Only this is the way we need to write our vision and mission. And vision and mission must be always interlinked. So if you want to achieve our vision, this is our mission. Okay, we call it this mission is the way to achieve the vision. Okay. Next is to achieve the vision and mission, we need to have a programs. Programs. Please understand, you have a institute. Under the institute, you have a program. The program, department. Under the department, you must have your own vision and mission. The way what you are written for a vision and mission for an institution, in the same way, you need to write a vision and mission for a department. Okay? And for a department, once you write a vision and mission, you need to write your program objectives. What your program objectives is, what I am preparing my graduates for their career or professional accomplishments. Okay, it means where do I see my graduates in their career or in their profession over a period of 3 to 5 years. Whenever I want to write a PE objectives, please take your feedback of your alumni, because if your institution is already established, two, three batches are passed out, please take their feedback. Okay, and see that where your graduates are working. Based on that idea, you try to write your objectives. Okay, and try to involve all the stakeholders while writing the objectives. Okay, so who are the stakeholders? This NBA has mentioned a few. So professional bodies, industry, alumni, student, management, faculty, parent, data on future, and data on trends in the development of profession. Now, professional bodies as such in India, we don't have a good professional bodies who can tell them what the requirement, but at least you can have a feedback from industry, faculty, alumni, and students. Okay, data on future is actually available if you look at your American professional bodies. Any American professional bodies, if you look at ASME, that is American Society for Mechanical Engineers, or other bodies, they publish a data for the 3 years where the graduates are moving. Suppose if you take ASME, they will, after once in 3 years, they'll publish a data for the last 3 years where the mechanical graduates are moving. Based on that, they will suggest actually what curriculum changes you do in your engineering, so that you can improve their professional life better. So same thing, the data can be, even we can take such data and then you can write our vision statements and our objectives. And You can take stakeholders, but don't try to list all the stakeholders because many of the times you don't get a proper feedback also. Take whoever, wherever you get a good feedback, take only such feedbacks in defining your vision, mission, and POs. Okay? PO. Now, whenever I write a POs should be in line with the vision and mission of the institution and the department. The number of POs should be manageable, either 2 or 3 in number. They must be achievable by the program. Okay? Over the period of time, you must be able to achieve your POs. POs must be specific to the program and do not too broad, and POs should be based on the needs of constituencies. Is it clear from my side?
Sir, your slide is not moving.
Where it is stuck up? Oh, it is moving.
It's on the slide number 27.
Oh, I am in 43. Oh. Still is the same, 27th slide?
No, sir, now it is 43, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay. Generally, whenever you write a program educational objectives, we need to write again based on 3 levels. One is cognitive, affective, and behavioral. Again, knowledge, skill, and attitude components. Objectives can reflect the different levels of learning. Okay? And there generally we talks about the mastery of objectives typically concerned with the minimum performance essentials. It talks about knowledge and skill essentials. Okay? And they concerned with more complex learning outcomes. Example, I put this, you can see the MIT's mechanical engineering department. I put in a vision, mission, and objectives. Okay, because I'd shown you the vision and mission of the MIT, okay, institution. Now I'll come to the program for a mechanical engineering. For a mechanical engineering, the objective of the program is to be the program. Okay, the education objective of the program is leading to the degree of Bachelor in Engineering for mechanical. According to their degree, they are looking at their mission statement is, their objective is they apply a deep working knowledge in the technical fundamentals in the area related to mechanical and electromechanical and thermal systems. They have a deep innovative technologies to find solutions to engineering problems. Okay, they communicate effectively as a multidisciplinary team, sensitive to the societal context, committed to ethical action. Okay, leading to the lead in conception, design, implementation of new product, process, service, and systems. If you look at this, first one is knowledge, second one is a knowledge, last one is a skill in between. Okay, third one is also a skill, that is communicate effectively in multidisciplinary teams. Fourth one is for an attitude component, okay, where the students or professionals are, okay, and societal context committed for ethical action. So all the 4 components are involved here in this. Okay? So therefore, whenever you write the statement, it must be knowledge, skill, and attitude component. If you are having a MBA program, okay, the objectives are much different because for a PG program, PG becomes very specialized. Therefore, if you have an MBA program, we always write an objective based on thinking skills, communication skills, leadership skills, and the knowledge skills. Okay? Then based on that, you can write an objective. Again, it should be highly specific to program what I'm telling you. So it is for an MBA program. This is for my department we have written. So one is a vision to be a leading chemical engineering center for quality technical education. To do that, okay, we have written, okay, based on the knowledge, skill, and attitude. Okay, Based on that, we have derived the program educational objectives. Okay. And finally, when I write this program education objectives, for reference I shown. Okay. When I write PO, I need to do the mapping. So generally, we look at a mapping scale. So every statement of your mission must be mapped to the education objectives. So generally, the tree is called as high mapping, 2 is medium, 1 is a low mapping. So every mission statement must be mapped to objectives. Okay, this is what, and you need to write a statement and explanation why it is mapped to program education objectives. It is purely based on your understanding. You need to provide a mapping for an educational objectives to the statement, sorry, your mission statement. Okay. Now again, education objectives should be written based on the accepted views. Okay, identifying the design of the course. Okay, well-defined objectives, and it must always take in account of elective and core courses and achieving the objectives. Everything must be taken into account while writing an objectives. When it comes to program outcomes, as I told initially, we used to call it as A to K outcomes. Later, NB has added management and finance. Now we call the outcomes as 1 to 12. This 1 to 12 outcomes, all the outcomes are derived based on 3 components. One is the knowledge, skill, and attitude of the behavior. Okay. If you look at this, these are called as the graduate attributes. Okay, as defined by Washington Accord, which is followed by all the members of the Washington, and it is followed across, for say, an outcome-based education for engineering graduates. For engineering graduates, these are the skill sets must be there. Okay, for a UG engineering program. One, you must have engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design, investigation of complex problems, modern tool usage, engineering society, environment sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, lifelong learning, and project management. If you look into these details, first one, engineering knowledge is a knowledge component, problem analysis is a knowledge component, design and development solutions is a knowledge component, investigation of complex problem is a knowledge component, project management and finance is a knowledge component. So this 5 belongs to knowledge, modern tool usage, communication, okay, individual teamwork belongs to your skill sets. When it comes to an attitude component, engineering and society, environment and sustainability, ethics and lifelong learning. These are generally called as the attitude component. The behavior towards society is thinking towards environment and sustainability, talking about ethics in his profession, and he is moving toward. And always he must be willing to learn through his life. Lifelong learning is also in his attitude component. So if you look at this skills, that is graduate attributes listed by NBA, it will show all the components of outcomes. So based on that, people are used to write now, but the problem is now NBA has already given the statements. So graduate attributes have been clearly defined by NBA for UG engineering program. Knowledge, problem analysis, design, investigation, modern tool usage, engineering society, environment sustainability, ethics, teamwork, communication, lifelong learning, and finance. This has been given by NBA. It is there in our NBA manual as well as the NBA SAR. Okay, the statements have been given. Earlier we used to write a statement for this. Now it is given. Now what NBA is looking at, development of PSO, because these are the minimum requirements for a graduate. Now you need to look at how to write a program specific to your program. I should write specific to mechanical engineering, specific to electronics. You need to write. If you want to write a PSO, what NBA says is program shall specify 2 to 4 program specific outcomes. Okay, there must be based on, try to make this program outcomes based on specific core courses or combining 3 or 4 specializations. Let us look at how to write it. Generally, if you take our engineering curriculum, this is generally a concept of what is that our curriculum. What is our curriculum consists of? We have a basic science, that is basic science like physics, chemistry, mathematics. We have a basic engineering courses like what we teach in first year, like electrical, mechanical, civil, everything. And we have from third semester onward, we start teaching them core, professional electives. Okay, that is called open electives, project work, seminar, and there are some subjects which are humanities and social sciences are added into our engineering curriculum, mainly to people to talk about the attitude component. Okay, therefore, humanities, social sciences, and environment is also there in the engineering. Environment, sustainability, everything has been moved into engineering, mainly to address those components of knowledge, skill, and attitude component in our curriculum. Okay. Now, this is based on this, the whole graduate attributes have been derived based on the whole looking at the whole curriculum. If you want to do a specific to our program, what I will take is we directly get into the detailed domain of an engineering. If we take mechanical engineering, in mechanical, the core courses can be divided into at least 5 different headings. Okay. Generally, here we have made 4 different headings. One is design, thermal, manufacturing, and industrial. Okay. And you have electives combined referring to all the above 4. So it means I can have, at least if you look at my core curriculum, design is 25% specialization courses are there. To related to thermal, I have 18% courses. Related to industrial, I have 14% courses. Related to manufacturing, we have 21% courses. And remaining 22% courses are electives. Again, they are dependent on industrial, manufacturing, thermal, and design. The way you need to design a curriculum is very much important for an outcome-based education. This level of micro-analysis is required. And this 22% has to be distributed to all the 4 specializations. Okay. Based on that, you need to write. Okay. Based on that, you need to tell the students, you do all the core courses is compulsory. In the elective, take only one stream and do a specialization. Okay, if you have a students of 120, you can make 30-30 batch. Ask people to do some design specialization, thermal specialization, manufacturing specialization in your elective courses. So it becomes a very well balanced program of mechanical engineering. So if you look at specific, so I put civil engineering by mistake, it is a mechanical engineering. For a mechanical engineering, don't worry about the computer science. Okay. In the mechanical engineering, if you look at program specific outcomes, first outcome is design mechanical components and subsystems, prepare for production drawing, CAD tools suitable for manufacturing process. They'll be able to formulate and analyze energy and mass flows in thermal devices. They design, analyze, optimize, and realize mechanical process systems to meet industrial competitiveness. If you look at these 3 components, one is for design, one is for thermal, third one is for optimization. Okay, industrial. So based on the 3 specializations, they are written program specific outcomes. It means our mechanical graduates are well versed with the design, thermal, and industrial application. This is what they'll be able to do. So that is the level where you need to bring it into a specific to program. Okay. So based on that, this is what the program outcomes, what you have seen, the program specific outcomes. What you see. These outcomes are expected, okay, by these courses are the subjects that are assessed and evaluated. I need to design a courses to get all these outcomes, whatever I mentioned, PO, PSO, okay, program outcome and program specific outcome. They are all assessed based on your courses. And they are mainly based on, that is, should be linked to the learning outcomes. Okay. So what are these learning outcomes? These learning outcomes are specific. They must be measurable of what graduating or existing students should know or able to do. They are generally, outcomes are generally referred as observable behaviors whenever possible. They must be focused on the results of student learning, not on the learning process. Mainly it must be derived on the program mission statement. Okay. For every stage, I can write outcome. I have written for a program outcome. I have written for a program specific outcome. I can write many outcomes like this. Department, program, course, class. Even for my 1 hour, I'm teaching you now with some of the technical difficulties. But still, I'll be able to think that these are the things you will be able to know, or you will be able to do at this after this 1 hour of interaction. Example, let us take an example. One analogy I've given. There are two components there. One is solid, other one is vegetable. One is solid and other one is a vegetable. I want to relate the salads and outcomes. Okay. When do we call this as a vegetable? When do we call them as a salad? So, the example, if you take a computer science, if you look at our NPTEL in computer science in NPTEL, we have listed around 190 or 180 courses. Is it possible for me to teach 180 or 190 courses in our UG curriculum? No, it is not possible. It is not possible for any student to know all the 190 courses listed in your NPTEL. Okay, this is one example I've given. You can for any course, any program or any stream of engineering, you'll have a n number of courses. The courses are like your vegetables. Okay, but I need to pick up the proper courses, correct, to make my either a computer science program or a mechanical program. All 190 courses of NPTEL cannot be made into my engineering curriculum. Okay, so therefore I will pick up only because if you look at your curriculum for 4 years, hardly you'll be studying about 40 to 42 courses of your engineering, which are related to computer science or a mechanical. Okay, so I need to pick up a proper courses and make my very good engineering program. If while picking up, I should not pick up a brinjal or a garlic, because that is not in a salad. Salad is a one which consists of a standard specific vegetables. Okay, so I need to pick up a proper vegetables to make my good salad. If I add brinjal and garlic in my salad, then you don't call it as a garlic. Again, it is a vegetable. So picking up a right courses and making a very good program out of it is a very big challenge for academicians to make, and a proper outcome-based education system which can cater for our PSO, PO, PUO, vision, mission, and statements. So therefore, so again, that's what the definition I given. So course outcomes identify the ingredient that make up the program. Okay. So course outcomes are very, very, very important to make a very good program. So what is the course outcome? So you are going to study 50 or 60 courses throughout your 4 years. These 4 years are called as the incremental knowledge. If I study one course, I'll get some knowledge. It's an incremental knowledge and skill that student will develop bit by bit throughout the program. Okay, they must align typically narrower than program outcomes. What are the program outcome? The combination of all the program outcome, okay, and we categorize them into different salads, okay. So therefore, they characterize that salad individually, individual ingredient. Take, okay, one carrot, one cucumber. Oh, these are the different courses actually. They are the different courses. When you all put together different courses, then it becomes a very good program. Okay, it becomes a very good salad. So having a very good mix of courses is a very good challenge. Okay, therefore, these are our courses. Finally, I want to link it to program. Okay, A to L, it is there. A to L, connect them very well to the program. Connection is here is a big challenge for our people who design a curriculum to make very good outcome-based education program. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Hello. If you have any doubts in my presentation, yeah.
Now we have opened the the session for the queries. If any of you have any queries, session is open. You can ask directly to sir. Next session will begin at 11:30 a.m. That will be on course file and personal file. If you have any queries regarding this presentation, you can ask directly to sir, or even you can drop your question in the chat box.
Now, because of some technical difficulties, I could not make it continuously. There is some problem. Which are there. Okay. If you have any doubts in the PO, PSO writing definition, everything I can sort it out. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
sir.
session. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.